What's going on, fans? Another video here. It's the Thursday, October 4th, I believe. I'm not so sure myself. It's been a very interesting week here again to review yet another episode of Season 5. Real quick, I'm just going to respond to just a few comments that were made to the my first video. In a way, and I'm not going to point out names, you can see the comments if you wish, but I actually do agree with a few comments that were made onto my first video regarding the departure of some of the fans. I mean, yes, he was a fan favorite, but if you think about it, and this is what I did not bring up in my video, if I recall, you know, in a way, I mean, Opie wasn't as, he had no story to him. Basically, there had to be one way. And I agree with another comment. One of the other comments was like, you know, he needed to go in order to build Jack's tension with the crew, in order to turn Jack into something different. And I agree. And those are some points I didn't point out, and I appreciate the response. I mean, I appreciate it very much. And now on to the episode that was just released this past Tuesday, as every Tuesday, of course. I had just seen the episode. I watched it again because I didn't get a chance to see it Tuesday night. And the episode, I mean, the ending was a very powerful scene because, you know, in a way, it's that way of saying, you know, when a family member or someone close to you dies, it's like your final goodbye. It's a real rough scene. I've dealt with it many a times, but I'm not going to go into further detail about the episode. I'm just going to say that I find it very hilarious that Ashley Tisdale is on this show, only because, you know, this is a Disney star turned into a TVMA slash show that this is something that and Disney would be like, Mickey Mouse and all that other nice crap would be like, oh my god. And you know, I find her character, believe it or not, I mean, it's pretty interesting, but Emma G, probably the most randomest friggin' name I've ever heard of for a acquaintance or whatever the hell it is. I mean, I'm gonna say, the entire season so far has been so good because a lot of people have said that Season 3 was soft, Season 4 was okay, but I think Sutter listened to those comments, and now it's time to reboot back to a very crazy season like Seasons 1 and 2 had. But, you know, this was another one of those intense episodes, and I don't know if anybody's seen, but the coming attractions for the next episode, it's going to go haywire. It's going to be one of the best episodes to date, in my opinion, besides episode 3, which aired last week. To start off, I mean, I'm glad that this is becoming a bigger, interesting type of events. I mean, there's a video on YouTube, it's some Anthony guy, and I'm just putting a shout out to him. I don't know your other name on the user, I apologize, but I mean, the video you got for Opie's death, it's been major pops. I mean, I cannot believe, I mean, I'm surprised this hasn't hit 1 million views yet. I guarantee by the time the end of this month rolls, there probably will be 1 million views on your video, man. Mad props. It was a good video. I watched it numerous times, not only because of it being an emotional scene, but it was probably one of the most biggest scenes of the series. But now, on to the good stuff. Obviously, there have been reviews put out, but in my opinion, my book of the review, the episode was pretty interesting. Stolen Huffy. And one of the best shots of the beginning episode was when they showed two kids on a bike riding by, and then next thing you know, you see Sam Crow and you see Jax wave out the sign, and it was a great camera technique. I mean, it stops in a slow motion type value and then it just speeds off after he finishes off. It was probably one of the greatest moments, and especially the reaction on the kid's face. I mean, there was two different reactions, a good and a negative reaction. It was probably one of the greatest reactions I ever seen, especially to a biker gang, no less. And it was a pretty good start off to the show. You know, this whole episode, in my opinion, was based on the in Mourning type of episode. I mean, there was one part where, and it was pretty interesting, where Nero and Carla and Gemma return to the the broken out acquaintance pimp place. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, when I watched it, it's pretty interesting. I don't know is it a prostitution ring or something? I don't know. It's some kind of fancy term. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, it was a pretty interesting episode. And you know, I had a feeling that Carla and Gemma were going to have some kind of fallout eventually, and it finally came. Because after because Jax and Chibs are sent on this little mission to get the stolen Huffy, because Nero's gang, they're not impressed. They won't, because Emoji sold them out, as what I saw. They want to kill her. How nice, they're going to kill a Disney star. Boy, that would have been that wouldn't took the cake. That would have been great. But I saw the episode, and honestly, it was a pretty good build-up. Now, the best part is that they catch her in a hotel, Chibs and Jax. They're sent on that little mission. Next thing you know, Nero's gang finds them, and Jax does a little game of cat and mouse. They're going to do a little chase on the street. That was probably a good scene. The scene where Jax and he falls off the bike, he runs into something, nearly drives them, kills both members. Now, one of the guys comes over and punches the Tisdale, and that was a great scene to see. But, not that I don't like her, but I mean, for a Disney star, if you get punched, that's pretty damn good intensity right there. After that, it's been found out that after that series of events, that Carla set them up, and that's what makes the brawl between Gemma and her go at it almost. That's one part. But like I said, I'm not going to make a summary about it. Long story short, Tara gets in on it, and she watches, and Gemma tells her that, you know, your husband got into this because of what happened with Carla, and they got into a huge brawl. And at the end of the episode, it seems like Nero, and I even saw a coming attraction for it, Nero looks like he's beginning to really disown Gemma just by how it goes all after this, because Carla looks like she just got beaten out by a pimp almost. So, after that series of events, now I'm just going to go on to the main reason of the episode. The funeral, the part of it. You know, we finally see Lila, and she shows the emotion. I think Winter did a great job in her role in that. I think this will probably be the last time in a long while we'll see her, because now that Opie's out of the picture, it won't be her. We won't see her that much. But it was a very intense episode to watch. I mean, really, it was pretty much one of the most roughest episodes. The ending scene really got to me, because not only was it all Sam Crow and Sam Crow families just, you know, gathering together just to mourn Opie, but I mean, that photo of Jax and him and a picture he was looking through on the rooftop at one scene near the end was a very emotional scene to see, and it also gives a recommendation of the Opie, of why they said hello, or almost with Jax's little peace thing in the beginning. It kind of makes a nice little gag in there. But other than that, it was a really rough scene to watch. Because, I mean, all you see is Jax he's like, see you soon, brother. That's what I saw. It's pretty good. I like how Sutter put in that emotion ring. Then they carry him out like a motorcycle viewing. That was pretty creative. So, after that, it was over. It's done. So now, for next week's episode, I'm just going to make this quick. You know, the review, I give it a 7.8 out of 10, and my ratings, I'd give it a 89%. Now, for next week's episode, from the coming attractions I see, it looks like they have the gun deal, since Curlay is now with them. They're going to do the gun deal, and most likely it's going to be a very intense episode, and I hope that I get to see some accomplishment in this. And, I mean, I know for a fact that it's going to be good, so all I got to say is, can't wait. Other than that, see you all later.